and they're present on February 21st, 2017. Today is Tuesday, April 9th, 2019. They're still waiting to make the playoffs. Johnson basically admitted the job was not for him. He likes fun and basketball and talking basketball, and the job is hard and time-consuming, and there are fines when you talk about other teams and players that aren't yours. Here's hoping Jeannie Buss is listening right now. Under Magic Johnson, the Lakers won only 42% of their games, which is among the bottom 5 teams in the Western Conference. They've certainly struggled at home with the Staplers, with 4 different 5-game losing streaks at the Staples Center. Listen, they're second-best team, but behind the Clippers. Right. And there's the playoffs, or lack thereof, which LA has still not reached since 2013. Now, Jeannie, listen.
I've been thinking about the great meetings I had with Jeannie the last couple of days. And, you know, I love her as a sister. And so today, I'm going to step down as a president. And I think I don't want to, her and I have such an amazing relationship. And I think that she gave me full power to do what I wanted to do. She doesn't know I'm standing here because I know I would be crying like a baby in front of her, even though I'm about to cry now. But it's the right thing to do, right move to make. And then that way, he can stay in place, hopefully build the team, coach the team the right way. And also, what I didn't like is the backstabbing and the whispering. I don't like that. You know, I don't like a lot of things that went on that didn't have to go on. I want to go back having fun. I want to go back being who I was before taking on this job. And you know, we're halfway there with LeBron coming. I think this summer, with that other star coming in, whoever's going to bring him in, I think this team is going to be in position to really contend for championships.
Have you had any communication with LeBron about this?
Nope.
What would you say to him?
I would just tell him, you know, that you know, I'm going back to doing my community work that's important to me, that I missed a lot of it. And what's important for me is I get to help everybody when I wasn't in the Lakers. And now with the fines and the tampering and this and that, I can't help young men who want me to help them, or I can't tweet out, like Russell Westbrook, that was a great feat the other day, and I couldn't even tweet it out to say, hey, congratulations, man. And if I had did that, everybody said, oh, he's tampering. You know, I don't like that. I like to be free. And then I got a great life. I was like, damn, I got a great life outside of this. What am I doing? You know, I got a beautiful life. So I'm gonna go back to that beautiful life. And I'm looking forward to it. And somebody gonna have to tell my boss, because I know she's gonna be sick, but I know I couldn't face her face to face and tell her.
She doesn't know I'm standing here. I was trying to get my head around that. Magic's had 3 different roles, of course. Most famously as a player, 3-time MVP, 5-time champ, 74% of his games in purple and gold were wins. In 93-94, if you're too young to remember this, Magic was actually the Lakers' coach. 5-11, things started well, and then sort of hit the skids. As president of basketball operations, he traded D'Angelo Russell, who he praised tonight, didn't bring back Julius Randle. Both are having career years. He, of course, was most famously successful for being unsuccessful in getting Anthony Davis. So obviously, Magic's been in a variety of roles with the Lakers, all of them now former. Rachel Nichols joins us. She was at that impromptu press conference at the Staples Center. I know he spoke for almost an hour with the assembled media. Then you had an opportunity to talk with him one-on-one afterwards. What did he tell you there?
Well, obviously, I mean, the first moments were just such a shock. It's amazing because I had been standing with the executive producer of our NBA Countdown show, Amina Hussein, in the hallway just chatting with Magic before Luke Walton went to do his press conference. And then Magic was like, oh, give me a minute, and obviously was hanging around Luke's presser, and then gathered the assembled media back. They were ready to leave. And he was like, oh, I have something to say. And drops this on everyone. Afterward, when I had him one-on-one, I did ask him, I said, do you think you owed it to Jeannie Buss to tell her directly instead of having her find out through that press conference? And he said that he felt that if he went to her, she would appeal to him because they have such a close relationship. And he said, I think she would start crying. I think I would start crying, and I wouldn't have been able to leave. And he said, this is good for me.
Before I let you go, where do things stand with the organization?
This is a tough, tough spot for them. I mean, he wasn't just the face of any organization. It was Magic Johnson with that face and that smile as the face of the Lakers. They were counting on him to be in the room, to close the deal with the free agents this summer. Come to play with LeBron James. Come to be under the tutelage of Magic Johnson. Well, they don't have that part anymore, and I think this team is going to have to take a hard look. Jeannie Buss is going to have to take a hard look at who she wants in that front office. Because, yes, she put Robin there, but the idea was that the face of the organization would be Magic Johnson. And you have LeBron James, which you and I have talked about this before.
Yep.
He's a diminishing asset. He is only getting older. He is only getting less athletic and more likely to be injured. So you have to maximize this next year. It is a tight spot for Jeannie Buss and the Lakers. All I can say after knowing her personally for a long time as well is I think she's up for it. It's just going to be a really tough job.
The conversation will continue on The Jump, our NBA-centric show tomorrow on ESPN2 at 3 p.m. Eastern. Rachel, thank you. Much more Magic coverage on the way. I mentioned Rachel's one-on-one with Magic Johnson. You'll hear from that. The exclusive chat is on the way tonight here on SportsCenter.
Breaking news, everyone we know in the NBA is quitting tonight. Dirk Nowitzki, oh, he knew. 21 seasons in Dallas, hadn't committed to retirement until tonight. Final game at home against the Phoenix Suns. 33 minutes of burn, 30 points, age 40, and moments ago, Ad Wiedersehen.
As you guys might expect, this was my last home game. Yeah.
Lovely round of applause. That's about as good as it gets if you're not a Cowboy.
Down there.
727 time that Dirk led the Mavs in scoring in his career since they drafted him as, well, they didn't draft him. The Bucks drafted him, then he got traded there. That's more than 550 times. The next closest player, which would be Michael Finley. He's from Wisconsin, I'm from Wisconsin, one of Dirk's first teammates. More on Dirk ahead, as well as plenty on Dwayne Wade. You know why? Because he's quitting tonight, too.
Everybody is.
Warriors game with the Pelicans affects absolutely nothing in any way, shape, or form unless that happens. Steph Curry rolls his ankle. First quarter, Curry falls to the ground without being touched. He's had some ankle issues in the past, as we know. Leaves the game, would not return, being called a right foot sprain. The team says lots of precautions being taken, except for the part where they played him in the game. Curry, though, good news, doesn't appear to be quitting. Doesn't look like it's a career ender. A history of right ankle foot injuries in his career. December 2017, he missed 11 games with a right sprained ankle. March 2012, Curry set out 28 games with an ankle sprain as well.
We've got breaking news on SportsCenter. It was unofficial the whole season. It's now official after the game. Dirk says, I'm done. This is his final home game with the Mavs. Dallas will be in San Antonio tomorrow. He got into the league before efficiency meant something, John. He had 30 points on 31 shots, but he also scored the Mavs.
Going after Kobe.
Also, first 10 points of the game were scored by Dirk. Congratulations. Full highlights on the way.
60 on 50. Also in this game, on the other side of that, that's Jamal Crawford, not one of the 8. First quarter, Crawford, catch, shoot. He's 39. It's like a golfer. You want to shoot your age? Let's see if we can add that bad boy up. Long 2. He's just getting started. Second quarter, here we go. Crawford. That is a scores bucket right there and a member's bounce. Third quarter, Crawford. I mean, he is on his way. He took 30 shots. Dirk sure took 31, made 11. Crawford took 30 and made 18.
Much better, much more.
7 of them were threes. 8 of 9 from the line. If you want to go ahead and do the math, you can, or I can tell you that he went for 50. Now we're hoping that Jamal Crawford will call into Kenny Mayne, and then Kenny will tell us about it, because they're Seattle boys. There you go, pull up. Woo! Just feed the hot hand. Like Devin Booker can't go, so somebody else has to score 50 for the Suns. It might as well be the 39-year-old Jamal Crawford.
Wow.
Bang. He's scored 50 with several different teams now. I think this is his 4th different team with a 50-point game.
Is that right?
Might be his 5th, yes. This is where we need Kenny Mayne and his Seattle connections. I don't even know what he's up to right now. I just know at that point, Luka Doncic had a triple-double, 21, 15, and 11. But our boy, Jamal Crawford. Dirk, that was some deep. Dirk checked out on the defense. He had retired from the defensive end on that possession. 51 for Crawford, though the Mavs won 120-109. Crawford's night, historic, 39 years old, oldest player to drop 50 in a game. Here it is. He's also the first player to record a 50-point game with 4 different teams.
Like you said, wow.
51 points were the most by a player off the bench since starts were first recorded.
Channing Frye, 13 years in the league. The other night, Kevin Love came out in his Arizona jersey. It's tough for a UCLA Bruin to do, but he did it the other night. Frye was pretty good in his last game. Crowd gave him a nice ovation on the night where we said goodbye in some ways to Wade and Dirk Nowitzki. More on that coming up at the top of the hour. He was good. Tristan Thompson was getting involved. The fans were loving it. Kevin Love did his. There he is. Watch out. Kevin Love's got that toe injury. Looks just fine there. Mob and Frye, goodbye. Congratulations. He was a member of that 2016 Cavs championship team. They'll never be able to take it away from him. Great moment. A send-off for him. And he will check out of this game. It only seems right when you know it's a look at Love. He'll check out to a standing ovation. And that would be a shirt. Yeah, on the shirt. And Tristan Thompson, absolutely loving it. Congratulations on a career capped by a title.
The Lakers' latest drama. I want to take a moment to talk about Dwayne Wade in Miami. As we speak, they're getting ready to celebrate this man, one of the greatest cards in the history of the NBA, a 3-time champion, a former league scoring champion, an Olympian. This man has been absolutely phenomenal as a player. As far as I'm concerned, he's going into the Hall of Fame as one of the top 5 shooting guards in the history of basketball. 7 straight seasons from 2005 to 2012, averaging a minimum of 24 games. We know what he did in terms of recruiting LeBron to South Beach. And Chris Bosh, by the way. And we know what he did for Shaq when he won his first title, just destroying the Dallas Mavericks in their last 4 games after being down 2-0. But more importantly than anything else, no matter how great he was as a guard, as a player, as a star in the NBA, it is nothing compared to the great individual that he was. It was an honor to cover him for his entire career in the NBA. We're going to miss him. Thank you, D. Wade, for everything you've done.
I've always been the leader of the pack. I've always been the commander. I've always been the person in front. I've always wanted what everybody else didn't want. I want people to say that LeBron James did it his way, and now he's a legend.
I know it's going to be very challenging just because of the experience that the roster had at that point in time. But I would never get comfortable with losing. The last few years, everybody's so accustomed to the losses that I'm just not accustomed to.
LeBron James is used to his seasons ending in June, as that's been the case in each of the prior 8 seasons before this year. However, LeBron played his final game of 2018-2019 in March for a Lakers team whose season ends tonight against the Portland Trail Blazers. Welcoming in our NBA reporter extraordinaire, Dave McMenamin, live from the Staples Center. Dave, let's get right into it. Ramona Shelburne, obviously doing an outstanding job, as she always does, reported that Magic Johnson and Luke Walton have not spoken for weeks. The report is basically saying that Luke Walton is gone, which is something that we've all been hearing about and we all know. We know that much about the guy that's about to be out as head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. What is it that we don't know that's been going on with Luke Walton and the Lakers over the last several months?
Well, Stephen, we have to think about the hypocrisy of the mixed messages, right? Right now, he doesn't hear from Magic Johnson. Earlier in the year, Rob Pelinka, the GM, was sitting in on coaches' meetings and involving himself at a granular level. That's not a normal practice that happens with a coaching staff and a front office. And then beyond that, we're going about a couple weeks now, but the team was flying back from Milwaukee to LA at the end of a 5-game road trip. Luke is on the plane with Jeannie Buss. She was on that trip with the team. And rather than saying or complaining that, this team has been so hard to manage or the roster was constructed poorly, Luke was focusing on the future. And he said to Jeannie, hey, I'm in my first year with this group. Magic and Pelinka are both young in these positions. Why not give us a chance to move forward together? It appears that message fell on deaf ears as the Lakers look at the coaching situation moving forward.
Luke Walton's record coming into the season finale against Portland tonight is 98-147. That's a 40% winning percentage. Obviously, that doesn't bode well for him. But is he on his way out the door because of that record, because of inefficiency? Or is it a situation where he was never Magic Johnson's guy to begin with, and he never really had a chance at staying on as head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers?
Yeah, Stephen A., what happened to the coach of the year in the Eastern Conference last year, Dwayne Casey? He was let go, and they made a playoff run. And why was he let go? Ultimately, because he wasn't hired by Masai Ujiri in Toronto. And this happens time and time again in this league. Now, is it fair? Certainly not. Luke Walton's winning percentage, while not overwhelming, was an improvement. The 3 years prior to him arriving, the Lakers are winning around 26% of their games. And so he's done some things. You talk to people like Josh Hart and Brandon Ingram and Kyle Kuzma and Lonzo Ball. All of them feel like they are better pros because they've played under Luke Walton. But this is a really tough job, and you're dealing with an aging superstar, one-year contract veterans, and then that young core. I'm not sure if there's any coach who would have been cut out to get this team this year to the playoffs. But that was the goal of Magic Johnson in the front office, and someone, apparently, probably Luke Walton, will pay the price for not meeting that goal.
Who's going to pick the next coach? Magic Johnson or LeBron James, or a combination of the two?
I would hope, Stephen A., it's a combination of the two. Now, ultimately, the person who has to answer for whomever the coach is and however it goes has to be Magic Johnson. But it would be foolish not to consult LeBron in this process, because that's what you do when you have a player of his stature in terms of both the game now and the game all time. And listen, if you don't, you could just be setting yourself up for another headache. So I would hope that LeBron James is involved in the decision-making process. There should be a consensus, though. I mean, LeBron, Magic, Rob Pelinka, Jeannie Buss, I hope all of them feel good about whomever comes in to be the next coach, because you don't want to be in the same situation next year looking at the playoffs and wondering, man, did we make the wrong decision?
Dave, how much, before I let you go real quick, how much culpability does LeBron accept for what happened during this season? Obviously, they were a 4th seed before he went down Christmas Day with the groin injury and missed 17 consecutive games. They've never been the same since. We've seen dysfunction rake through this franchise in very public ways. Does he accept any culpability for it, or is he looking elsewhere in terms of that?
He hasn't run from it. It's not like he's saying it's all on him. Perhaps he's saying it's all on the injury that he suffered on Christmas Day, but that coincided with the injury to Rajon Rondo. And, of course, we know that the Lakers are limping into the postseason with no Lonzo Ball on the court, no Kyle Kuzma, no Josh Hart, no Brandon Ingram also. So the injuries really are the thing to blame here. But LeBron, of course, because you go back to last summer, Magic Johnson presented this plan to bring in playmakers around him rather than shooters. Well, LeBron had to sign off on that plan. And so there's a level of culpability there, and the level of culpability on just his body not being able to allow him to be on the court as much as they needed him to make it into the playoffs in a really tough Western Conference.
Well, I sincerely doubt that'll be the case next year. I expect him to come out big time next year and be a league MVP candidate again. Also, I wouldn't be surprised if Tyronn Lue is his coach in the process. Dave McMenamin, our NBA reporter extraordinaire. Great job as always, buddy. Thank you so much.